Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I want to thank Latricia for sending me this beautiful coffee mug. Look, and it's got dogs that look like Muttley. This is what my dog looks like. Muttley's a silver dappled dachshund and this looks exactly like him. Look at this, its little face there. So thank you so much, Latricia, for giving me this mug. And I want to thank everyone on the subject of coffee mugs. I want to thank everyone who's been donating me a cup of coffee on my coffee page. I'll put the link underneath the video. So I'm going to show you today how to do this. This is a really pretty stitch. Look at this. Now, a lot of the stitches that I do are easy. 99% of them are really easy. Some of them might look difficult, but they're not. I can't do difficult. I don't do difficult. Anyway, I'm going to show you how to do this. It's got a front post stitch and some fillet crochet in there. Really pretty. Lovely for cardigans, sweaters, cushion covers, hats, scarves, lots and lots of different things. And it's really easy and I'm going to show you how to do it. So the stitch count for that pattern is sets of 9 and then you'll add 4 at the end. Do as many sets of 9 as you need to make the blanket the width that you want it to be. So I'm going to do a slip knot onto my hook. If you can't do a slip knot, then just tie it on, it will still work. So we're going to count in sets of 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. Then another 9. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to do a small sample of this. You use whatever yarn you want, any thickness, any kind of yarn, and just use the hook it tells you on your yarn label. Now I'm going to add another 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3 and into the 4th stitch you're going to do a UK treble crochet. If you're in the USA, this is a double crochet for you. It's the same stitch, it's just a different name. So those chains of 3 that we skipped becomes your first stitch. So we've got 1 and 2. We're going to put 1 into the next stitch. That's 3. Now you're going to chain 1, skip a stitch and put 2 treble crochets together, 1 into this stitch and 1 into this stitch. So chain 1, skip 1 and do 1 treble crochet and 1 into the very next stitch. So this is the start of your pattern. Going to chain 1 and we're going to do 3 treble crochets along, but we're going to skip a stitch in between. So we're going to skip 1 stitch and do a treble crochet. So that's your first one. Chain 1, skip 1 stitch and do a treble crochet. That's your second one. Skip 1, chain 1, skip 1 stitch and do another treble crochet. That's you got 3. You're going to chain 1, skip 1 and put a treble crochet in that stitch and a treble crochet in that stitch. So we've done our chain 1, skip 1 stitch and do 1 treble crochet and 1 into the next stitch. And this is what you've got. You've got your end, you've got 2 treble crochets together here, then you've got a chain 1, skip a stitch and do a treble crochet, chain 1, skip a stitch, treble crochet, chain 1, skip a stitch, treble crochet. So you've got 3 in the middle. chain 1, skip a stitch and put 2 treble crochets together, one there and one there. And now we're going to do those 3 single ones on their own again. So chain 1, skip a stitch and do your treble crochet. Now these are double crochets if you're in the USA. Chain 1, skip 1, so that's your first one on its own. That's your second one on its own. Chain 1, skip 1 and put a third one on its own. So you put 2 together, 3 apart. Chain 1, skip 1 and you're going to put 2 together, 1 into that stitch, 2 side by side and 1 into the next stitch. Now these are for your front posts, these ones that are together. And that's what you'll do all along the length of your chain. So chain 1, skip 1 and do 1 treble crochet on its own. Once you've got this row done, the rest of the pattern's quite easy because they're done, so you know where you're chaining and you know where you're going. It's only to get this foundation row done. So chain 1, skip 1 and treble crochet. Chain 1, so I've got on the row I've got 1, 2, chain 1, skip a stitch and treble crochet. Chain 1, skip a stitch and put 2 together, side by side, 1 there and 1 into the next stitch. And that's what you're going to have. Chain 1. Now at the end, chain 1, skip a stitch and we're going to put 3 treble crochets side by side. So that's 1, 2 and 3 into that end stitch. Now if you've got what looks like a stitch left, that is just the one way we started. That's my slip knot. Just tighten it in. You're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Now you can see where you're going to go now. We don't need to do any of the stitch counting or anything. So chain 3 and turn. So we're going to do 3 treble crochets together. That counts as your first treble crochet. So yarn over and into your next stitch. That's 2. And 1 into the next stitch. That's 3. So we're going to start our front posts now. Chain 1. And we're going to go around the post of this stitch and around the post of that stitch. It's called a front post stitch because the stitch ends up on the front of your crochet hook. So yarn over and go in the space and slip your hook around the back of that stem or that post like that. So right through, catch your yarn and pull up. Now you've got to pull the stitch up. If you don't pull that stitch up, your blanket will start to curl. You don't want that stitch to be tight, so make sure you pull it up. Yarn over, through 2 loops, yarn over and through 2 loops. Now you're going to go around the next post. Yarn over and around. Pull your yarn through. Now pull the stitch up. Yarn over, through 2 loops, yarn over and through 2 loops. And that will stop it from curling in. If you do these front posts too tight, your work will bevel in the way. So now you can see where you are with your chains. Chain, treble crochet, chain, treble crochet, chain and treble crochet. We're going to follow the pattern along. So chain 1 and you're going to into the top of this treble crochet. Chain 1 into the top of the next one. So you're skipping that stitch and working into this one. Chain 1 and into the top of that one. Remember and do your chain 1. Chain 1, and you're going to do 2 front posts. You're going to repeat this stitch here. So yarn over and go right behind the post so the stitch is in front of your hook. Pull through, remember and pull it up. Round the next one, pull it up, then chain 1 and do your little post, and do your treble crochets. So chain 1, treble crochet into the top of this one, chain 1, treble crochet on top of this one, chain 1 and into the top of that one there, chain 1 and work around the posts, these 2 posts, this one first, pull up so your blanket doesn't curl, pull up, chain 1 and then work along these 3. So chain 1 into the top of that treble crochet, chain 1, go into the top of the next one, chain 1 into the top of the next one, chain 1, and you're going to work around these last 2 posts that are together. Pull your stitch up and around that other post, pull your stitch up. You're going to chain 1 and you're going to work along these 3 stitches. So into the first stitch, these are all together, these ones, and then into the next stitch. This keeps your edge nice and straight, and then count 1, 2, 3 of that chain into the 3rd stitch and that chain. And that's what you have. Now the next row, you're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, turn your work around. Now you can see where your front posts are because they're set back a little bit. We're going to do a back post when we get to there. So we're going to do a treble crochet into each stitch along. So this is the main pattern. So we've done these 2 rows here, and we're going to do this row that splits the fillet crochet up. This is the back of your blanket, and you can see that your posts are set back in. So we're going to do this row here. These are the 3 rows you'll keep repeating. You'll do those 2 and then this one, those 2 and this one. It's easy once you've got the hang of it. So we're going to do 1 treble crochet into each stitch, but when we get to these front posts we're going to do a back post stitch. I'll show you how to do that. So we're not doing any chains. So 1 into the next stitch, 1 into the chain space, 1 treble crochet into the chain space. So now you know here it sticks out. You'll know when you're at your post stitches. you're going to put your yarn over and you're going to come from the back through that space and then slide it behind the stitch. So the stitch is on the back of your hook. Pull your yarn through, but remember and pull the stitch up through 2 loops, yarn over through 2 loops. You're going to do the next one. So yarn over and come in from the back and push your hook through. So the post of that stitch is on the back. Pull your yarn through. Now pull it up, make sure you pull it up. You don't want your blanket to curl. Yarn over and through 2 loops. So 1 treble crochet into the space. We're doing a full row of treble crochets. 1 into the top of this stitch. 1 into the chain space. 1 into the top of the stitch. One into the chain space. It should be 7 stitches along. So from those front posts we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 into this one is 6. And 1 into that chain space is 7. Now you can see your chain here sticking forward and you'll know that you're at your posts. So you have to do your back post again. So in from the back and round, pull your stitch up, around. It's going to keep all your lines on the front of the blanket doing these 2 back posts. So in from the back, scoot it around that stitch, pull your yarn through and pull your stitch up. And then put 1 treble crochet into each stitch. 1 into the space, 1 into the stitch, 1 into the space, 1 into the stitch, until you get to these 2. Then you'll do your 2 back post stitches. Then a treble crochet into the chain space, 1 in the stitch, 1 in the chain space, 1 in the stitch. You'll do that all the way along to the end. 1 treble crochet into the chain space. That's a double crochet if you're in the USA. 1 into the top of this one. We've got 3 here at the end. 1 into that one's 2. And we're going to put 1 into the top of that chain of 3. So count 1, 2, 3 stitches in that chain. I'm going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3 and turn. So we're going to do the fillet crochet part on the bottom. We're going to move it up here. So you'll always have your 3 stitches together at the end, at the beginning, and your 3 stitches together at the end. It gives it a nice straight edge. So that counts as your first treble crochet. So treble crochet into the top of the next one. That's 2. And treble crochet into the next one. That's 3. Now you're going to chain 1. You can see where your fillet crochet starts, your posts, and then your other fillet crochets here. So we're going to skip this stitch and you're going to work around the post. So skip that stitch and work around from the back of the post so it's on the front post. Pull up. That's 1. Move to the next one because that's a front post. Chain 1. Skip 1 stitch. And there's your treble crochets all in a line. See them there? Just go up. So you skip that stitch and put a treble crochet in. And we need 3 on their own. So chain 1. Skip 1 stitch. There's your other ones there. So skip 1 and treble crochet. chain 1, skip 1 and treble crochet. That's you got 3. So that's you starting your little boxes again. So we're going to chain 1, skip that stitch, and we're at front post, around that post and then around that post. So skip that stitch, work around that post and around that one, chain 1. So we're building these boxes here, so skip 1 and you can see them going up in line. So skip that one. Once you get your blanket a little bit bigger, you'll see it more clearly. Chain 1, skip 1, and there's my line there. Chain 1, skip 1 and treble crochet. Chain 1, skip that one and then work around the posts. These really stick out at the front so you can't miss them. Around that post, pull it up, and around the next one, pull it up, chain 1, skip 1 and do a treble crochet on its own, chain 1, skip 1 and do a treble crochet on its own, chain 1, skip 1 and do your third treble crochet on its own, chain 1, skip that one and work around these 2 posts. Work around the posts, pull up, that's 1, and around that post, that's 2, chain 1, skip 1 and do a treble crochet around this one. Now we're at the end, so we need 3 together. 1 into the next stitch, no chains, and 1 into the top, that chain of 3, count 1, 2 and 3 into that third stitch in that chain. And you can see the pattern that you're doing. Once you've got this amount done, it's really easy after that, because you can see the way these line up with each other. So we're going to do this row again. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and turn your work around. So you'll be doing back posts because you're on the back of your pattern, and when you're doing these ones you'll go around the back of them. So we've got 3 together here, so that counts as your first one, that chain. Now that's your second one, and into your third one. So we need a space, so it's chain 1, and you're going to go around these 2 posts, around that one and then around that one. So you're going in from the back to the front and push through, so your stitch is on the back of your hook, pull your yarn through and pull it up, and the next one. Make sure you give it a little pull up. Now you're going to do your 3 treble crochets on their own. So chain 1, skip the space and do a treble crochet, chain 1, skip the space and do your stitch, chain 1, skip the space and do a treble crochet, chain 1, and then work around these 2 posts from the back to the front. And that's 1 and 2, chain 1, and you'll do your 3 treble crochets. Then you'll do your 2 post stitches, chain 1 and do your 3, chain 1, do your 2 posts, chain 1 and do your 3 on the end. So I've done my last chain 1, I've done my back post stitches here, so I've done my chain 1 and I'm going to do my last 3 treble crochets. That's stuck there. 1 and 1 into the next one, and 1 into that chain of 3, count 1, 2 and 3 into that third stitch. A little tight. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3 and turn your work, and you're going to do that full row of treble crochets again, and you'll do your front posts here. So it's a full row of treble crochets. Then you'll go back to doing these 2 mesh rows. So just rewind the video and do these 2 rows again after that one. Then you'll do that row again, 2 rows of your mesh, a row of treble crochets, 2 row of your mesh and a row of treble crochets. And you'll do, when you get to these, you'll do your front posts and back posts to keep those all on the front. So I've got 3 together here, so I need to do a treble crochet into this one, 1 into the next one. Now we're doing a full row of treble crochets, 1 into the chain space, and then you'll go around your posts. The posts are here at the front, they're raised up. Remember and pull it up. If you tell me that your blanket's starting to curl up, because you're not pulling on the posts to keep them slack. So pull it up, then a treble crochet, oops, into the chain space, and 1 into the top of this one. You're going to put 1 into each stitch all the way along. So it's 1 into the space, 1 into the stitch, 1 into the space, and 1 into the top of the stitch, all the way along till you get to your posts. Then you'll go around that post, around that post, and then into the chain space. So I'm on my last 2 front posts. So when you're on the front, it's a front post stitch you do, and when you're on the back, it's a back post you'll do it. You'll do it from the back around the front here, just like I've showed you. So 1 into the chain space and 1 stitch into these last 3 along here. 1, 2 and 1 into the top of the chain. You'll chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and you'll start again. You'll do your 2 rows of the fillet crochet, or these spaces, or your little boxes, whatever you want to call them, is what you're going to get. You're going to get this beautiful pattern. It's lovely in any colour at all, any yarn. Just use the hook size it tells you to use with your yarn, and pretty soon you'll have this. Now when you finish your blanket, you can either finish it on these 2 rows here, or you can finish it on that solid row of treble crochets. You can work all the way around with a treble crochet to give it a border if you want, but it doesn't need a border. Just make sure when you do those front posts you pull your stitch up so it doesn't curl up like that. If your work's starting to curl, it's because you're not pulling that front post stitch up. That's the front, and that's what the back looks like. So it's not really reversible, but it is a really pretty pattern, so give it a try. It is completely free to subscribe to the channel, completely free. So you just click on that subscribe button and follow just a couple of easy steps, and then you can subscribe to any YouTube channel you like. And if you click on the bell icon, YouTube will tell you when I put up another tutorial. So give this a try, it is quite easy. So until the next time, happy crafting, and I'll see you all again soon. Goodbye.